Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dirty Pat Walsh channel on YouTube with me, your host, Dirty Pat Walsh. That's right. This is a vlog I've tried to make a number of times over the last 24 hours. Hopefully this one will be the one that gets it. It's just hard to convey. It's a message I'm struggling to convey properly. But we're going to get a dip. And let's dip some Stoker's Fine Cut Wintergreen. Why the hell not? It's the weekend. We like to party. Alright. I'm not going to take too much. I'm dipping a lot today. Been dipping all morning. Yeah, just breathe some in there. It's a pretty fine cut. It's amazing. I think I said it. I think I said it the other day in a video. They don't lie. Stoker's long cut is exceptionally long, and their fine cut is exceptionally fine. So, it's good. Yeah, okay. So I had an experience the other day that, I had an experience the other day. Oh, did you get that ping? I love this thing. I had an experience the other day where I was down at the bar, the only place I used to work at for a decade or so. It's right across the road from where we have band practice, right? So we had an 8 o'clock rehearsal, and Glenn asked me if I wanted to come meet him a little bit early. And that's often what we do these days. And I was starving, and I didn't really have anything at home except for ramen and honey buns. So I thought I should get a sandwich. So I went down the only, I got a sandwich. It was great. Hanging out with Glenn was great. But as I was leaving, this woman came up to me and said, "Patrick Walsh." And I'm like, yeah. I didn't recognize her at all. And I'm pretty upfront when I don't recognize somebody. I said, "Who are you?" And she said, "I'm Jolene." Now, the only Jolene I've ever known, and this was the same person, was this young woman, probably around the age of 14, who used to hang around during the Noplace days, back when we were, back before anything really good had happened. We'd all been working at the Union. That's kind of where we were at. And I was just starting the Jackson Sanatorium Blues Band and stuff. It was just like, it was kind of the late 90s, like the mid late, like 96, 97 and stuff. Those were very, I guess that from what, I don't know, 95 to 2000, the Noplace years, where none of us were doing anything. I wasn't touring all over at that point. We were basically just running this artist center that was our apartment, and it was pretty cool. But we did a lot of cool stuff in the community at that point. Like I was playing in Wine with Everything, trying to poke away as a solo musician. We did a lot of poetry stuff. Me and my people, my Noplace people, Bucky. Shout out to Bucky. Shout out to Time. Shout out to Scooter. Yeah, it was, and to Tomer. We all had a little nickname at Noplace. Um, yeah, and so yeah, I knew this woman from back then. She was the daughter of this guy. This guy I knew. I was never very fond of her father, but I knew him. Um, he actually, this. He actually wrote. Her father wrote a fucking little it was like an essay in fanzine form that he photocopied and put around all the bars about theater artists like myself, you know, um, who's he couldn't stand the self-indulgent fringy theater that was going on, doing nothing but to stroke the artists' egos and this, that, and the third. I did a production of Samuel Beckett's Endgame once, and one of the prop pieces was a ladder, and the only ladder I had access to was the ladder at the theater, which was a metal ladder. And I actually really liked the sound. Like, I'm always thinking about sound, right? And I always liked how the metal ladder scraping along the stage sounded, right? And anyhow, I came in one day before the show, and he'd been in someone had raided my props closet and exchanged my metal ladder for a wooden one. And I was like, what the hell? And it turned out it was this guy. And I tore a strip off him for it. And I'm like, this is my fucking show, dude. Like, and he's like, well, I didn't think that the metal ladder was appropriate. And I'm like, it's not your fucking show. And anyway, so we wrote this essay basically about how he thought about theater, and people like me and a few other people that he mentioned were bullshit con artists. It was pretty funny. Somewhere I have a copy of it. But anyhow, she was his daughter, and she was super cool. Her and her friends, her and her friends were kids of the parents who hung around in that scene. In the late '90s, mid to late '90s. And anyhow, she came up to me and she introduced herself, and I was like, holy fuck, it's you. You're all grown up. Because, like, now she's like 30 or something. She looked to be like about late 20s. But I know that she's probably about 30 because I haven't seen her in fuck like 20 years. You know, um, and so it was kind of like a wow moment. And she told me she had a couple kids. I told her I'd had a couple kids, and um, yeah, and then she just hugged me, or well, we had a hug, and it was so good to see her. And you know, we're just having a hug, and she hugs me really tight, and she whispered in my ear, she said, "You have no idea how much you and the No Place people influenced my life from then until now." And I said, "I hope that's good." And she said, "It's about 80% good. It's a little bit of bad because we did have a lot of drinking and stuff going on, but yeah, it was good. She got a lot of positive out of it, which was great to hear. You know, um, and it kind of validates things. Like, because back then, like, we're all artists. None of us had really done anything much yet. We'd done a bit of theater. Done a bit of music, whatever. Nothing had really taken off yet. And, you know, I certainly know that, like, during those days, I used to sit in my room and just type for 8 hours a day, just writing poetry and stuff, right? And just to be a writer. If you want to be a writer, all you got to do is write, right? So, definitely, questioning my validity in the art scene, definitely questioning everything that I did, but knowing that I was driven to do it that way, and that was the way I had to do it, so that's how I was going to do it. And, to hear 20 years later that you completely changed and influenced someone's life because of that, and other things that were going on in the community, that you were involved in. It validates it all, or that I was involved in. It validates it all. Moments like that are very precious. So big shout out to Jolene. I don't think she I don't know. I don't think she watches my videos, but if you do stumble upon this, it was great to see you, Jolene, and thank you so much for giving me those words of inspiration, because that inspires me. So it goes around, comes around. Yeah, so that was fantastic. I think I worded it right this time. I think I'll keep this video. Yeah, it's just such a time, like talking about that time. I could just go off on a million tangents, about crazy stuff we were doing and crazy stuff that happened to us, and you know, yeah, it was a fun time. But I never liked your dad. That's okay. Anyhow, folks, that's my little story for today. Um, just thinking about my artistic days when I was 25 and invincible, to now being almost 50 and not so invincible anymore, but feeling much more validated in my wastrel life of the 90s and the 80s and be well, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And my takeaway from this is, no matter what you do, no matter what you're, if you're a singer, guitar player, an artist of any sort, or whatever you're passionate about, even if people don't, it's not in the popular currents of what's going on, do it anyway. Work from your heart, because you never know what kind of impact it's going to have on somebody later in life. And, I wish everybody could have, I hope everybody has moments like that. I wish everybody could experience how I felt when Jolene told me that me and my friends had influenced her life to the nth degree. So, very happy. All right. Be well, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. And happy Valentine's Day from yesterday, if you had a Valentine. Yeah. But it's over now. All right. But I still love you all. Be well. What's up, Weeze? It's my cat giving me a hug. Around the neck, around the neck hug, as you can see by his paws. Oh, Weasley. Yeah, he just sits there as long as he can, much of the day. He's a pretty sweet little Valentine, that's for sure. Right, Weeze? Yeah.